Hello, my name is Karen Dahlman and I'm a director at the Talking Board Historical Society. So the topic today I'm going to talk about is about how to get your planchette to move. I know many of you have written to me and asked me about how do we get this planchette to move? I can't get my Ouija board to work. My talking board doesn't work. What's wrong? Well, that's a great place to start. You got to start somewhere. And yes, it does take time in the beginning for the most part. Some people can get on it right away and it works, but for the most part, no, it's going to take some time. So I'd like to address that. I have something that I call the 3 Ps. The 3 Ps of getting your planchette to work. It's patience, practice, and perseverance. I mean, there's got to be patience for the process. You're going to be sitting there. You could be sitting there for hours on end. You could be sitting there for weeks, for months, it could be literally up to a year maybe, or longer, who knows. The time is up to you. The time doesn't really matter. It's just the fact that you put the time in to do the practice. The more you practice regularly, the less time it's going to take overall. But it does take that time. And so be patient with yourself while you're taking the time to learn to use your planchette. So what it should feel like is it should feel like a pulling. It's a pulling sensation when the planchette starts to move. And you just keep your fingers and just move along with it. Now, if you're doing it by yourself, that's fine. It'll still feel the same. It might just be that much harder to feel it move in the beginning if you're using the planchette by yourself. If you're working with another person, that's probably optimal because it'll be easier to allow it to flow and for you to let go and your partner to let go and allow it to move. There's something interesting that happens when 2 people come together on the board. Either they're thinking each other's pushing it and they're letting go, or they just trust that movement. Now, it does start out with gibberish. It will start out all over the board, pun intended, and it will, spell out things that don't make sense. And it may take a while to actually form real sentences or actually real words and then form real sentences. So just have patience through that whole practice. What I suggest, though, is to start out with about 10-15 minutes if you're by yourself or even with a partner, and just begin to allow the energy to come. Sit there with it, state your intentions, open your session in the way you would, and just have your fingers sitting on the planchette waiting for that ever so subtle movement. And let me tell you, it's very subtle when it actually happens. And once you get used to that feeling, it will be like second nature. So it does take a lot of patience. Practice, sit down like I mentioned, 10-15 minutes at the most in the beginning. You may sit up to a half an hour to an hour with a partner, and as it starts to move, you'll probably end up sitting a little longer. You might increase that to an hour because you're starting to get letters, you're starting to get movement, you're getting gibberish. Now, while you're practicing, I think a big mistake I see a lot of people make that doesn't help them get better with the spelling when they're working with these different energies, or it doesn't help them get sentences and paragraphs if that's what you want, is to ask only yes/no questions. Yes/no questions are ending. There's nothing more that you can say other than yes/no. And so if you watch any of my sessions, what you'll find is I rarely ask yes/no questions. In fact, I reserve yes and no for clarification purposes only. If I didn't understand something or I missed a letter or something, I may say, was that supposed to be the letter D? And then it might say yes or no. But if you ask open-ended questions, and open-ended questions are those where you have to answer more than yes or no. There has to be an answer that has to be at least a thought process behind it with the sentence. So get in the practice of doing that, asking open-ended questions. And then it gives you time to allow the energies you're connecting with to learn to use this tool and to spell with this tool. I mean, this is not a normal thing for, I think, any of those energies in the other realms to be using this. But with practice, it can work and it will move. The other thing is really having perseverance with this. Just stick with it. I mean, patience, practice, and perseverance, it's all 3 to go together. But if you are patient with yourself and you practice, like as I mentioned, just a little bit regularly, like a few times a week, and then you persevere with this focus, with the intention of getting this to work for yourself, something will happen. There will be a breakthrough and there will be movement. Now, what type of breakthrough, what type of movement you're going to get, I don't know. Only you will know that, and you will find that through your intentions. So it's your intentions combined, that reasons why you're wanting to use this tool, and why you're wanting to work with the talking board or Ouija board. That is your main focus, and that's going to help you propel you along with this journey as you're beginning to get your messages. So always don't forget your intentions. State those in the beginning. So I hope that helps you get started with this tool if you're not using it yet, or if you're just kind of stuck in just getting yes/no questions, or you're getting a lot of gibberish. Try these things. Ask open-ended questions. Take more time at it. Sit there with the energies, learn to feel it, and allow it to move and pull you. And with enough patience, practice, and perseverance, you too will have great results using this tool. Well, thank you for watching. I appreciate you being here. Again, this is Karen Dahlman from the Talking Board Historical Society. Leave your comments below, and be sure to join us also at our YouTube page. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.